Hey guys, I'm back, and today we are going to go through my top books, my favorite books of 2018. Alright, let's get into it. So, I'm gonna start from the way I'm gonna do this is that I'm going to have my least favorite to my favorite book of 2018, if that makes any sense. I think I have 8 books here, so I'm going to start with my 8th favorite, and that is Inkor, I believe that's how you say it, by Aladea. And this book is a poetry collection. I tabbed my favorite ones, and the author actually contacted me on Instagram and wanted me to get it, review it, and make a picture, like a really nice, aesthetically pleasing photo so she could post it on her Instagram, and she tagged me in it, and it was really cool. And I'm really proud. Okay guys, so I wanted to start out with my least favorites, and then go to my favorite out of the whole year. So I'm going to talk about this book first, because this is I believe I have 8 books here. So this is my 8th favorite book, and that is Inkor by Aladea. She contacted me on Instagram and wanted me to review the book and make an aesthetically pleasing photo for her Instagram, and I did that, and she tagged me, and that was really cool, and it was really good. I got into poetry a lot this year, as you can see by my poetry shelf, but a lot of it was so bad. A lot of poetry out there is just really bad because they just get into these issues, and I saw even man hate in one of them, so oof. But this book was just remarkable. This book was very well written. It was a type of poetry that I haven't really seen before. The way that she worded things was just beautiful, and I recommend it to everyone. I believe it's self-published, and most poetry collections are, because a lot of publishing houses don't take on poetry because it's not really a well-established genre in terms of there's always one on the best-selling list. You know what I mean? It's not a super big popular genre. So I really enjoyed this. It's called Inkor, and it's just really weird. It's really cool, and I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. And now we're going to go to my 7th favorite book, and that is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. Oh my gosh, BookTube talks about this series and this book a lot, and this author, not to mention, because she just came out with a new book called A Large Expansive Sea, and the new book in this series came out, because it is a series. I really liked this book. This would be in the top 3, except for the end. The last, I don't even know if it's 50, probably the last 30 pages. We learned that this is a powers series, and that is a trope that some people like, and I'm okay with it if it's done well. But the fact is that it just kind of twisted the whole story, because I thought we were going in a completely different direction, and it wasn't a good plot twist. It was just okay, now we're heading in this direction. I'm okay. So, yeah, the cover is very beautiful. I love it. I love the romance in it. It's trash YA romance, so I loved it. And I really liked it, and it's really cool. And it was just the writing style with there are times where in the beginning she crosses out a lot. It's supposed to show the chaos of her mind, the way it's written, where there'll be a sentence of like something she thinks, and it'll be like crossed out. And throughout the story, it gets less crossed out. And I thought that was a really cool element. And it's very, I've heard people describe it as flowery writing, and I get that. It's not the most flowery. Like, I think The Night Circus takes the cake for the most flowery writing and descriptions I've ever read. But it's certainly, I think there's a lot of metaphors and similes or whatever in here. It was just like really well put together, except for the ending. I will not get over that. Will I pick up the rest of the series? I don't know yet. It's just, I don't know, like the ending has me a little bit hesitant because I don't really want to read a Powers book. I wanted to read wherever this was going, and I guess we're on this path now, but I really want to know what happens to the characters, so I think I will be reading this series in 2019. And now we're to my spots for 5th and 6th. I just couldn't decide which one was better, so they're just going to be both 5th and 6th. Dear Evan Hansen, and The Seven Torments of Amy and Craig by Dawn Zolidis. Oh my gosh, I literally just finished this book today, and it was incredible. I'm making a book review for Dear Evan Hansen soon, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I do talk a lot in the review because it's like 17 minutes long, so be prepared for that. Excuse me. The Seven Torments of Amy and Craig, so good. Such a good book. I highly recommend this. It's real, it's cute, it's really funny. There's a lot of humor in this book. You're never bored. And what I liked about this book was that it kind of went all over the place in terms of like the timeline. In like the first 2/3, like it jumps around from like the different breakups that they have because this is a love story. And in the beginning, let me just read you like the first page, the prologue. Give me a second. It says, I know it says a love story on the cover of this book, and it is a love story, but I want to mentally prepare you for it. The couple doesn't get together at the end. There is no happy ending. Spoiler alert. Like, that's just cool. I thought that was cool. And really weird, but this book was just it was great. I read it over the course of like 5 days, which is very unusual for me, and I would have read it earlier, except I had a wrestling tournament that I had to go, I had to drive to, and I had to stay in a hotel overnight so I could go to it. So, and people were being really loud. I couldn't finish the book then, so it was so good. It was incredible. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. And then Dear Evan Hansen. Do I need to talk about it anymore except saying it is the basically book version of the musical, except it's not a screenplay. It's an actual book, like with chapters and everything, cuz like I know like the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them screenplay came out. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not the script or whatever. It's an actual book, and this book was so cute. So good. It was cute, but it's funny, but it's really sad. So if you want like an uplifting read, no, I wouldn't rely on this for an uplifting read. Just no. Just no. But it's really good. Like, it's in my top 8 for a reason, because it was just incredible. Very raw and very just, I can't really describe it any more than, it was just really raw. It was really, I felt like I could talk to these characters, and what both of these books have in common is that they have flawed characters, and I think in YA, you don't see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see kind of perfect cookie cutter characters, or characters that like are annoying. But it's not like, it's like part of their personality. It's not like they do things every once in a while that's annoying, because some people, like, I'm sure I'm annoying every once in a while. Everyone's annoying every once in a while, but I mean, when it's like a part of their character, it's kind of like, it's annoying, you know what I mean? But these both had flawed characters, and it was just so good. It was great. I highly recommend both of these books. I recommend all these books, but you kind of have to be, I don't recommend these books to everyone. I feel like I think almost everyone would like this book. Maybe. Not everyone's going to like this book. I'm just going to be straight. Even though I loved it, I know for a fact that there's many people who don't really want to read something that's sad. And that's sad, like, all the way through. You know what I mean? But this is a really, this was a really good read. It's really, it's not that long. It's like 340 pages, so it's not like a 500-page book. And it was so good. It was, I don't know what to say, because I want to make a review for this too. So I don't want to say too much, but it was fun and funny. It's just really funny. The writing, I think what both of these books have in common is not only the flawed characters, but the really unique writing that it had, because the writing was so different than what I've read before, and it was just outstanding. And now I think I'm on my sixth book? I don't know, 8. No, I'm on my fourth and third. Yeah, fourth and third. I don't even know. Don't ask me. Fourth and third is The Elite and the Selection by Kiera Cass. I'm going to group these together because they're in a series, and oh my gosh, I loved it. Again, it's kind of like Shatter Me, where it's YA trash romance, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the book is trash. Like, when I'm saying trash, I mean like trashy romance, where it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. I think you know what I mean, but I'm not saying like the book is trash. I'm saying like it's a trashy romance. I hope that makes sense, but I will certainly be finishing this series next year. The Selection, I do have a review for that I had filmed, and I just never like edited it, so I will edit it, and I dropped the book. But The Selection, there's a lot of twats in this novel. My first twat board. So basically, trashy YA romance, and there is more like political stuff going on in this book, and I definitely like The Elite more than The Selection, because we delve into Maxon's, sorry, I forgot his name for a second, Maxon's past, and like, we delve more into his character. And in this one, he's kind of, not gonna lie, I thought he was kind of, he was like a child. The way he felt, it seemed like he was really innocent too, and unaware of himself and like what was going on in the castle and everything. But in this one, things get heated, okay? Things get spicy, they get really interesting, and I really enjoyed this book a lot more. But I want to group them together because they're in the series, you know? So this was so good. Recommend to anyone who if you like Shatter Me, then you'll like this book. So, there you go. And the second favorite book of 2018 is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. Oh my gosh, this book was so good. It was, look at that. That is a lot of tabs. Like, I never put that many tabs in a book, but this was so good. It was so good. We actually learned more about Sam and Selena's past, and it's supposed to be like 4 novellas, but really, no. It's basically one book divided into 4 parts. I mean, look, it's thicker than the first book. Like, this isn't for novellas. This is a book. This is a full book. So I enjoyed it, as you can see by all the tabs. So you're really bad, really good, and I loved this book because we finally got to see Sam's character, and I hate that name because if your name's Sam, that's really cool. But I mean, like, when I say I hate that name, I mean, like, in this, like, medieval context where, like, the names are Selena and Dorian and Kayal, and then you just have Sam, like, it's a little weird. But if your name's Sam, cool. I'm just talking about, like, in this medieval context. It's like, why is there just a Sam? It's like, if someone just put, like, I don't even know. It's just, I don't know. It just kind of bothered me. But throughout the book, I didn't care because I just loved him so much, and he was so good and nice, and I really liked him. And I kind of like Selena's character more in this book than in the first one. Just a tad. And it was like a hate to love romance in the beginning, and it was so good. Highly recommend that book. But I read it after Queen of Shadows, and I kind of wish I read it before because they mentioned you should read Assassin's Blade. I mean, if I had known, okay, here's my thing, is that in the series, I don't even know how many books there are, but there's a lot. In the series, I'd read it after Heir of Fire, because I think it's better to kind of not know what it is, then find out and be like, oh my gosh, that's what they're talking about. Then go to Queen of Shadows, even though I didn't do that, that's what I recommend, and I think Christine from Pulling Bananas Books also recommends that, and I agree with her. And now, drum roll please, my favorite book of 2018 is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Oh my gosh. Now, my deal with this book is that it struck such a personal chord within me that I just cannot, I really loved Assassin's Blade, but the fact that this was so personal and hit me really hard because it deals with the main character, Aza, she has OCD, and I read this in the point in time at the very beginning of this year, and it was just incredible how it came in my life at the exact moment that I really needed to feel like I wasn't alone, and I wasn't the only person who has or who deals with this kind of I don't know, I don't want to say mental disorder because I don't know, it just doesn't seem right, but this type of phenomenon where, because it just came in the exact moment in my life where I needed it, and it made me feel so happy that I wasn't alone, and it made me feel really grateful for it made me feel really grateful that John Green exists and that he wrote this book. And this was my first John Green book, and it led me to read Paper Towns because I want to finish all of his books, so if I ever meet him, I can be like, I've read all of your books. Like, I didn't want to read, I'm going to read Looking for Alaska and The Fault in Our Stars next year. If you guys want, I can make a video talking about, like, my bookish resolutions, because I have a lot, and a lot of them I didn't complete this year. But this book was just too personal. Like, even the reason why a lot of these books just aren't higher up on the list is because this was just way too personal, way too, it was way too close to home. You know, it was just way too in my face and part of my life. And this book just did so much for me, and I really appreciate that. It wasn't the best, it's not like the best book I've ever read, like, objectively, but subjectively, it was just too personal and too real for me not to attached to it as much as I have. And I actually pushed this book on a lot of people, so I think everyone should read this book because it's very accurate, in my opinion, about how it feels to have OCD. Even it doesn't focus on compulsions as much as some other books I've seen, but that's okay. It focused more on the obsessions, like what's going on in your head, and I thought that was really important, and the writing for that is just essential. If you don't have the writing for those scenes, then it's just gonna fall apart. So, alright, that's my thoughts. Those are my top 8. Yeah, I think it's top 8 books of 2018, and I think I'm supposed to do a book stack, so we're gonna do that. These are my top 8 books of 2018, and I hope you guys have a fabulous new year and a wonderful, whenever I post this, this might be after 2018's over, so if it's 2019, I hope you have a great 2019. If it's still 2018, I hope you have a great rest of 2018. Alright guys, let's hope for a good, nice reading year of 2019.